The Crystal Gate Hotel was unusually quiet that night. Too quiet for a place that usually hummed with luxury. Billionaire, Adrian Cool, owner of half the properties along the East Coast, was walking through the West Wing after an unexpected late-night business meeting. His polished shoes echoed against the marble floor as he checked a message on his phone. Then he heard a faint, trembling sound. A cry. Not the kind of cry a guest makes. No, this was different. Softer, broken. Adrian paused. The sound drifted from the hallway leading to the service rooms. As he stepped closer, the crying sharpened, carrying a kind of pain he hadn't heard in years. He turned the corner. There, on the floor beside a cleaning cart, sat a young hotel cleaner, older than 21. Her uniform was crumpled, and her hands covered her face. Her shoulders shook as she tried to stay quiet. Adrian didn't speak at first. He simply observed. Something about her felt familiar, like a memory buried deep. "Are you all right?" he finally said, voice calm but firm. The girl jerked up, eyes wide and panicked. I'm sorry, sir. Please, I'll move." "I'm not supposed to be here. I'm sorry." She tried to stand, but her legs wobbled. Adrian raised a hand. "You're not in trouble." "What happened?" She hesitated. Her name tag caught the hallway light. Maya. Maya quickly wiped her tears. "It's nothing. Just a long day." But Adrian knew a lie when he heard one. "And this wasn't the... just a long day kinda cry." Something bigger was hiding behind her trembling voice. Before he could ask more, Maya flinched at the sound of footsteps approaching the hotel manager. She whispered urgently, "Please, sir. Please pretend you didn't see me crying. If he finds out I was sitting, I'll lose my job." Adrian's eyes narrowed. Why would a girl who looked sick with fear be terrified of a manager? He didn't know it then, but Maya's secret was about to pull him into a story darker than anything he could have imagined. A story that would change both of their lives forever. Mr. Grayson. Tall, stiff, and always angry. His narrow eyes landed immediately on Maya, then shifted to Adrian Toog. Didn't he recognized who he was? Grayson snapped. "Maya, why are you standing here? The hallway is still unfinished. Guess we'll complain." Maya lowered her head. "I'm sorry, sir." Adrian stepped forward calmly, but his voice carried weight. "She was helping me." Grayson blinked, confused. Helping you, sir?" "Yes. I needed directions, and she took the time to assist me." Grayson's posture changed instantly. Fake smile, stiff shoulders. The classic shift of a man terrified of losing his job. "I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, sir. If you need anything at all, I can personally..." Adrian cut him off. "I said she helped me. Don't scold your staff for doing their job." Grayson swallowed. Maya stayed silent, staring at the floor. Adrian kept his gaze locked on the manager. "What's your name?" "Guy Grayson." "Daniel Grayson." "Good. I'll remember that." A small tremor ran through the manager's face. He forced another smile, nodded awkwardly, and hurried away, mumbling up a look. As soon as he was out of sight, Maya exhaled shakily. "You didn't have to do that." "I did," Adrian replied. "He spoke to you like you weren't human." Maya looked down at her hands. "He's not usually kind. But if I lose this job, I lose everything. My brother depends on me." Her voice cracked again, but this time she held the tears back. Adrian softened his tone. "What's happening, Maya?" She shook her head. "Please, sir. You've helped enough already. I don't want to cause problems." "You didn't cause anything." He sighed calmly. "Someone made you cry, and I want to know who." She stared at him, eyes uncertain, torn between fear and relief. She didn't know this man. She didn't know he wasn't just a guest, but a billionaire who could reshape her future in one decision. After a long pause, she whispered, There's something going on here, sir. Something that could get me in real trouble. Adrian studied Maya's trembling hands. Whatever she was hiding wasn't small. It wasn't about a rude manager or a long shift. It was something deeper, something dangerous. "Maya," he said softly, "you can trust me." She hesitated, glancing up and down the hallway to be sure no one was listening. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "There's a room in the basement. Staff aren't allowed near it. Not even to clean." Adrian's brows lifted. "A restricted room? For what?" Maya swallowed hard. "I don't know everything, but last night I heard shouting. And not normal shouting. Someone was begging, crying, sulling, 'Please stop.'" Adrian's jaw tightened. "Did you report it?" Ask it?" Her eyes widened in fear. "Reported. Sir, I would lose my job. Maybe worse. You don't understand. People who ask questions here disappear from the schedule the next day." Adrian's expression darkened. This wasn't just hotel drama. This was something criminal. "What does your manager have to do with this?" Adrian asked. Maya fidgeted with her sleeves. "I think he's involved. He and a few guests go down there at night. They act like the staff doesn't exist. And if we're near that hallway, they threaten us." Adrian's pulse picked up. "Are you saying there's illegal activity happening inside Maya?" He stopped himself just in time. Maya didn't know who he was, not yet. She nodded. "Yes. Something really wrong. But that's not the reason I was crying." "What is?" he pressed, gently. Maya's voice broke. "Because tonight they told me to deliver towels to the basement hallway. No one else would do it. I think they want to test me or drag me into something." Her hands shook harder now. "I'm scared, sir. If I go, I might see something I shouldn't. And if I refuse, they'll fire me. I can't lose this job. My little brother, he needs medicine. He depends on me." Adrian felt something heavy settle in his chest. He had come from nothing. He knew this kind of fear, and he also knew the look of a young person trapped by circumstances bigger than them. He placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're not going to that basement," Adrian said firmly. "Not alone." Maya's breath caught. "Then who will?" Adrian's eyes hardened with determination. Will?" The elevator door slid open with a dull metallic groan. Adrian stood inside, hands in his pockets. Expression can but his mind anything but. Maya stood just outside the elevator, her fingers nervously twisting the edge of her uniform. "You don't have to do this," she whispered shakily. Adrian tilted his head slightly. "I've done worse things than checking a basement hallway." "But it's not just a hallway," Maya insisted. "Sir Ivy worked here 6 months, and no one goes down there unless they retold to. And when they come back, they look different." Scared. Her words only strengthened Adrian's resolve. He gave her a reassuring nod. "Stay here. If Angon ASES keys." Before Maya could protest again, Adrian pressed the beta button. The doors shut, swallowing him into darkness. The descent, the air grew colder as the elevator dropped. The lights flickered, humming weakly overhead. Adrian frowned. A luxury hotel basement shouldn't feel like this. He owned enough properties to know what normal looked like. When the doors opened, a musty smell seeped in like damp concrete mixed with something metallic. Blood. He stepped out. The hallway was narrow, dim, and lined with old, unused service carts. Dust coated everything. A place abandoned, forgotten, except for one detail. A faint light leaking from underneath a steel door at the very end of the corridor. The restricted room. Adrian moved quietly, footsteps controlled. He wasn't afraid, he was curious. And angry. If something illegal was happening under his roof, someone was going to pay. Halfway down the corridor, he paused. Voices. Not clear, just muffled conversation, followed by a low groan. Then a thud. Adrian's muscles tightened. He approached the door and placed his ear against the cold metal. "You hit him too hard," a man whispered inside. "Relax," another voice said. "No one comes down here. The girl refused tonight. Good thing we found someone else." Someone else. Adrian's jaw clenched. He tried the handle. Locked. But he wasn't leaving. He stepped back, studying the hinges, the card reader, the wiring along the frame. Cheap, improvised. Not part of the hotel's original design. Someone created this room in secret, and they were using it tonight. Adrian took one slow breath, then leaned close to the door and spoke just loud enough for the men inside to hear. "Open the door. Now." Silence. Then shuffling. "Who's out there?" one man demanded. Adrian's voice dropped, cold and commanding. "The owner." For a moment, the basement went completely silent. Then a nervous laugh crackled from behind the steel door. "The owner?" one of the men mocked. "Nice try. The owner hasn't stepped foot in this hotel in years." Adrian's eyes narrowed. He could hear them moving, shifting, scrambling, maybe grabbing something. "I won't repeat myself," he said, voice steady. "Open the door." Now, a different voice spoke, lower and more cautious. "Check the camera." Adrian smirked. He'd already noticed the old security camera bolted above the door dead. "Wires cut. No camera," the cautious man muttered. "Someone killed the feed." Another pause. "Then he's bluffing. Get rid of him." The sound of metal scraping the floor sliced through the silence. A chair, a weapon. Adrian stepped back, just as the steel door swung open violently. Two men stood in the doorway. Both wore hotel maintenance uniforms. Bote AD. Cold, calculating eyes. But what froze Adrian's blood was not them, it was the shadow behind them. A man tied to a chair. Head slumped. Face bruised. Barely conscious. Adrian's voice hardened. "What did you do to him?" The taller man stepped forward, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Sir, this is a staff matter. We're dealing with an employee who Adrian cut him off sharply. Don't insult me. He's injured." "Who ordered this?" The man smirked. "You really don't know what goes on in your own hotel. Maybe you're not the owner after all." He reached inside his jacket. Adrian caught the movement instantly. A weapon. In one swift step, he grabbed the man's wrist, twisted hard, and slammed him against the wall. The second man lunged forward, but Adrian kicked the door shut behind him, trapping them inside the room. The second attacker swung a metal wrench. Adrian dodged, grabbed his arm, and forced him to drop it with a solid blow to the elbow. Both men collapsed, groaning. Adrian stood over them, chest rising and falling with controlled breathing. "Last chance," he said, voice icy. "Why are you using my hotel for this?" The taller man spat blood onto the floor. "You think you can stop this? You have no idea who's really in charge." The air shifted. A cold realization sank into Adrian. This wasn't just corruption among employees. This was bigger. Organized. Hidden. And these two weren't the leaders, they were pawns. Before he could speak, the restrained man in the chair groaned weakly. Adrian rushed to him, lifting his chin. "Maya," the man whispered, barely conscious. "They're coming for Maya?" Adrian froze. Someone else knew she talked, and they were already moving. "Maya," he repeated, gripping the injured man's shoulder. "Who's coming for her? Who gave the order?" The man's swollen lips trembled. "Manager, Grayson." He heard her ask questions. "He said she's a risk now." Adrian's blood turned cold. He didn't wait for more. He spun toward the door, leaving the two attackers groaning on the concrete floor. As he reached for the handle, the injured man whispered again, "Save her, before they take her below." Below? There was another level. Adrian didn't have time to process it. Maya was upstairs, alone, terrified, and Grayson was unpredictable. He shoved the door open and sprinted down the basement corridor. His footsteps echoed like thunder in the narrow space. When he reached the elevator, he slammed the button repeatedly. "Hurry!" he muttered under his breath. When the doors finally slid open, he stepped inside and hit the L button. The elevator ascended painfully slow, each second stretching like a wire about to snap. His mind churned. If Grayson suspected Maya talked, if he thought she saw Adrian go downstairs, if he believed she was a threat, he wouldn't hesitate. Not someone like him. The lobby, the elevator dinged, breaking Adrian from his thoughts. The doors opened, the lobby quiet, polished, empty, except for the night shift receptionist scrolling through her phone. But Maya was nowhere. Adrian strode toward the west hallway. "Maya," he called sharply. "Maya." No answer. He turned the corner. His breath stalled. Her cleaning cart was lying on its side. Supplies scattered across the floor. A bottle of glass cleaner slowly rolled until it tapped Adrian's shoe. He crouched, noticing something else. A small fabric teared from Maya's uniform sleeve caught on the corner of the cart. She had been dragged. Adrian's jaw tightened, muscles coiled with fury. He scanned the hallway and saw it. A service door, slightly open, a faint trail of cleaning powder leading inside, like she'd tried to fight back. Adrian pushed the door open. A staircase descended into shadows. Not the basement he had visited. A deeper level. One the public never knew existed. Maya's muffled voice echoed faintly from below. "Let me go, please." "I didn't tell anyone." Adrian's chest burned. He started down the stairs, every step sharper, faster, angrier. "Maya," he shouted. "I'm coming." But as he reached the final step, a figure stepped out of the darkness, blocking his path. It was Grayson, and he wasn't alone. Grayson's tall frame filled the bottom of the staircase, arms crossed, a cold, cruel smile twisting his face. Behind him, two more men emerged from the shadows, their faces hidden under cheap masks. Adrian stopped, his eyes locking on Grayson. "Let her go," he said, voice slow but cutting through the tension like a knife. Grayson laughed, a dry, chilling sound. "You think you can just walk in here and make demands? She's a liability. You saw too much already." Adrian's fists clenched. He studied the men 3-against-1. Not quite. He had trained for situations far deadlier than this. "What's this really about, Grayson?" Adrian asked, taking a careful step closer. "Why are you doing this in my hotel? Why use my staff for whatever this is?" Grayson's smile faltered for just a moment, but it returned immediately. "Business, Mr. Cole. Business that doesn't concern you. You're rich, yes, but you're still naive." Adrian's eyes narrowed. "Business? You're running human trafficking right under my nose, using fear to control young women, Maya included." The masked men shifted nervously. One tightened his grip on a crowbar. Grayson raised a hand. "Careful what you say. One wrong move." "Wrong move?" Adrian interrupted, voice rising. "Grayson, I own this place. Every hallway, every lock, every hidden corner. You're about to see what happens when someone uses my property to hurt people under my watch." The first masked man lunged, swinging the crowbar. Adrian sidestepped, grabbed the man's arm, and twisted with controlled force. A loud snap echoed as the man hit the floor, groaning. The second masked man tried to attack from behind, but Adrian used his momentum to hurl him into the wall. Grayson's eyes widened for the first time, surprise, maybe fear. Adrian seized the opportunity and stepped forward. "Where is she, Grayson? Where's Maya?" Grayson hesitated, eyes darting to the staircase leading further down. "If you want her, you all have to come, but I warn you once. You go further, there's no turning back." Adrian's pulse quickened. "I'm already past the point of turning back." Grayson gestured to the remaining men. "Go. Block him. Don't let him reach the girl. Adrian tightened his jaw. He was surrounded, but he had trained in situations like this, calculated, precise, ruthless, if necessary. He took a deep breath, prepared to descend into the final, darkest level, and then he heard Maya's faint, desperate whisper. Please. Help me. Adrian's heart thumped. Time was running out. Grayson knew exactly how to manipulate, for Andy had underestimated Adrian's resolve. The staircase descended into darkness, colder and damper than Adrian expected. Every step echoed ominously, bouncing off concrete walls, lined with exposed pipes. Shadows danced in the flickering light from the weak bulbs overhead. Maya! Adrian called again, his voice sharp and commanding. A faint sob answered him. She was close. At the bottom of the stairs, Adrian froze. The space opened into a wide underground room, dimly lit by a few hanging bulbs. The air was thick with dust and something else, something metallic. And there she was, Maya, sitting on the floor, bound with ropes, tears streaking her dirt-smudged face. Her eyes widened when she saw Adrian. I didn't think anyone would come, she whispered. Adrian quickly rushed to her side, checking the knots. I've got you. Hold on. Before he could untie her, Grayson stepped forward, flanked by the two masked men who had survived Adrian's earlier attack. His face was twisted with anger. You shouldn't have come down here, Grayson spat. Now you'll see the consequences. Adrian didn't flinch. Consequences for hurting the innocent. You're about to pay for every lie, every threat, every crime hidden beneath this hotel. Grayson laughed bitterly. You think you've figured it out? This isn't just about fear or control. There's more. Much more than you know. Adrian's eyes narrowed. Explain. Grayson's smirk grew darker. This hotel, it's been a front for decades. Illegal deals, hidden agendas. And the young women, they're part of something bigger. And now that you've stumbled in, you're in too deep. You can't leave. Adrian's heart pounded, but not with fear, with anger. He realized the depth of the conspiracy. It wasn't just Grayson. Others higher up were involved, and this basement was only the tip of the iceberg. He turned his gaze to Maya. I won't let them win. Do you trust me? Yes, she said, voice trembling but firm. Good. Then hold on tight. With swift precision, Adrian untied her while keeping his eyes on Grayson. The man's panic was starting to show. Maya scrambled to her feet, trembling but determined. Adrian grabbed her hand. We're getting out of here. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from above. Grayson's men had activated a trap steel gate slamming, cutting off their exit. Adrian's mind raced. Every second counted. The hotel wasn't just a building anymore, it was a labyrinth of danger. He whispered to Maya, follow me, and don't look back. But as they dashed toward another exit, a shocking sight froze Adrian in place. Hidden cameras lining the walls, blinking red, capturing every move. Someone had been watching them the entire time, and the real danger wasn't Grayson, it was whoever was pulling the strings from above. Adrian's pulse raced as he surveyed the hidden cameras. Whoever was behind them had been watching every move, tracking Maya, tracking him. Every exit they tried seemed trapped. Every hallway, a potential ambush. Maya, he whispered, tugging her toward a narrow side corridor. Stay close, and don't scream. The corridor was dark, the walls damp, and the smell of rust filled the air. Shadows seemed to move at the edge of his vision. Grayson's voice echoed faintly from behind them. You can run, but you can't hide. Adrian ignored him, calculating every step. He knew one wrong move could cost both of them. Suddenly, a trapdoor appeared ahead, slightly ajar. Adrian assessed it quickly. The metal hinges looked old, but sturdy. It might lead them outside. He motioned for Maya to follow. As they climbed through, Grayson's shout rang out. Stop them! From above, heavy footsteps pounded. Adrian and Maya barely had time to climb into a narrow shaft that led into the building's maintenance tunnels. Darkness enveloped them. The only light was from the small flashlight Adrian had in his pocket. "We have to move fast," he said, squeezing Maya's hand for reassurance. "They'll be coming." The tunnels twisted and turned, maze-like, but Adrian's memory of the building's blueprints helped guide them. Sweat poured down his face as he listened for any signs of pursuit. A faint scuffle behind them confirmed what he feared. Grayson's men were on their trail. "We were fast, but not fast enough." At last, they reached a ladder leading to an emergency exit. Adrian checked it quickly. It was locked with a simple latch. "Good," he muttered. "They won't expect this." He helped Maya up first. 10 for you. The night air hit their faces as they emerged behind the hotel, hidden in shadows near the back alley. Maya fell to her knees, gasping for breath. Adrian pulled her close. "You're safe for now," he said, but they both knew it wasn't over. Grayson had warned that the real mastermind was still out there, watching, waiting as they disappeared into the darkness. Adrian pulled out his phone and sent a single message. "It's bigger than we thought. Prepare for war." Somewhere inside the hotel, Grayson's eyes narrowed as he stared at the security monitors. They got away. But the game isn't over, not by a long shot. And for Adrian, this was only the beginning. Adrian and Maya moved through the quiet streets, hearts pounding, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. The city lights reflected off puddles from an earlier rainstorm, casting flickering shadows across their path. They had escaped the basement, but the danger was far from over. Maya's voice trembled. Who is behind all of this?" Grayson said. "It's bigger than him." Adrian didn't answer immediately. He thought about the cameras, the secret basement, and the chilling words from Grayson. Whoever was controlling this operation had power, resources, and influence far beyond the hotel. But Adrian had something they didn't: courage, strategy, and the unwillingness to let fear control him. "We find the source," he said finally, "and we stop it." Tonight, they returned to Adrian's private penthouse, where he accessed his contacts, security networks, and legal advisors. Within hours, he pieced together a web of corruption connecting Grayson to influential guests, corporate criminals, and even corrupt law enforcement. The entire hotel had been a front for human exploitation and illegal schemes. Adrian didn't wait. He called the authorities, but carefully, ensuring only trusted officers were involved. Simultaneously, he used his team to gather evidence, tracking financial records, secret camera feeds, and testimony from staff who had been too scared to speak up. Meanwhile, Maya watched. I never thought anyone would help. Not like this. Adrian placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're braver than you know. You trusted me, and now we can end this together." By dawn, the operation was ready. The authorities raided the Crystal Gate Hotel, apprehending Grayson and his accomplices. Hidden rooms were discovered, victims rescued, and the illegal network exposed to the public. News outlets captured the dramatic story of a billionaire who risked everything to save a young hotel cleaner. Maya stood outside the hotel, breathing in the crisp morning air. For the first time in months, she felt safe. Adrian approached, offering a small smile. "You did it," she whispered. "No," he said softly. "We did it. Together." As cameras flashed and reporters asked questions, Adrian watched Grayson being led away in handcuffs. He knew there would always be darkness in the world, but tonight, justice had prevailed. Maya smiled, tears of relief streaming down her face. "Thank you for believing in me." Adrian nodded. "Believe in yourself. That's what truly matters." And as the sun rose over the city, both of them knew one undeniable truth. Courage, empathy, and standing up for what's right could change lives even in the darkest hallways of the world.